Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And today we are going to, I'm going to go over The Magic Book by Rhonda Byrne, which we just finished a couple days ago, I think 2 days ago. And I want to kind of give my synopsis of this book and what I learned from it and what I thought about it. And if you completed it, if you didn't complete it even, you can say what you want to say about it in the comment section below. I would love to know what you think about this. I've also thought about, because this went so well, maybe, and I really got so much out of it, picking another book that's like a workbook to do. I know Melody Beatty did a book called 40 Days and 40 Nights, which is like activities and reading and things like that too. If you guys, but I would have to look into it to see like if it would work on this channel. But if you guys are interested in doing something else like this again, let me know. I mean, I'm not going to turn around and do it tomorrow, but maybe at the beginning of the year, that would be something that we could start to go into the world fresh. There's also a book that I started reading when my mom got sick, and it was by Stephen Levine, and I've actually talked about it on here before, and I've read some from it, and it's called A Year to Live, I believe, and it takes you through like month by month. I'm thinking actually about doing that. Like you do the activities and you read it as if you're living your last year, you know, alive kind of thing. And it's supposed to really make you appreciate life and really live life to the fullest and all this kind of stuff. So I actually have it right up there in the cabinet, which is why I kind of keep on looking over there. But I'm thinking about maybe doing that for the entire year of, you know, because I do the meditations, but then that'll give me something to do for the entire year of 2021. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. I don't think it's called A Year to Live. It's called maybe A Year to Live. I don't know, but let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. If you guys would like to do another one of these, if that sounds like fun to do like a whole year following it through, I thought that would be something. I mean, I wouldn't talk about it every day, but I would talk about it, you know, maybe like once or twice during the month, and then we could just do the book together for an entire year. So anyway, yeah, and there's some other books out there that I wanted to read, like The Happiness Project and things like that, that I think would be, you know, maybe good books to like practice over here and do together collectively as a group. So let me know what you think about that. All right. I think first I would like to read, yes, I have my reading glasses. Read a meditation before we get into talking about the Magic Book. So the meditation that I'm going to read from today is Daily Book of Positive Quotations. I literally went and picked this book and no other. So I have the set. All I have down here is my magic notebook and my magic book. So let's read from December 8th, A Lifetime. How far you go in life depends on your being tender with the young, compassionate, with the age. Well, hold on a second. Okay, let me start over. December 8th, A Lifetime. How far you go in life depends on your being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and strong. Because someday in your life you will have seen all of these. George Washington Carver. We often think as we get older that if we'd known what we know now, we would have treated our elders differently when we were younger. Conversely, as we age, we can forget what it is like to think, feel, and act like a child. When we're successful, we can become blind to how hard life can be for those who are still struggling. And when we master a skill, we may have little tolerance for those who aren't equally adept. Wherever I am in life's journey, I can be tender, compassionate, sympathetic, and tolerant towards those who are at a different place in their journey. I actually think this is a really fantastic meditation and probably one that I need to hear. You know, as I get older, I don't like to think that I look back, you know, on my life, and I mean, I do, and I say this a lot over here, that like, you know, I wish I had listened to what people had said to me before because it was life experience and things like that. I don't know that you really can appreciate that sentiment until you're older, though, you know what I mean? And you look back on your life and you really realize how right people were. I'm thankful, the one thing I am thankful for is that when I started reaching out to people that were my elders or, you know, my dad or friends of mine that were older or whatever and asked them for suggestions, that at some point I started listening. Because I was like, well, my dad said to me at one point, he was like, if you're going to ask me for suggestions, don't waste my time. Like, either take it, you know, or don't ask, you know. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think we want to ask 5 people until we hear the answer that we want to hear, and that's not necessarily how it works. But I think, you know, like one of the things that my dad also said to me one time was, I would love to show you all the mistakes I made in my life and show you all the successes that I had, and then if you followed that, you know, path, you could end up having this amazing life, right? And he was like, but I know that you have to make your choices on your own and learn things your own and things like that. And I think it's actually a really, really valuable point. And, you know, I think for me, especially with like people in early recovery that are friends of mine, it's like I want to just tell them like, do this, do this, do this, and it'll make it so much easier for you, you know? But I realize they have to go through the journey themselves. They have to go through that process themselves. Like, I didn't learn it because somebody showed it to me. I learned it because I went through it, right? And I think that's so true, you know? But generationally, it's hard. You know, if you're younger and anybody that's older says to you, like, I think you should do this or this and this, it's out of fear for you, or it's out of them wanting you to have the most successful life. It's not a put down. A lot of people see them as put downs. But now that I'm older and I look back and I try to give, you know, people that are younger than me advice from time to time based on what I have been through, I think often it comes across and people are like, oh, you think you know everything, or you're older now. No, it's because you don't want people to have to go through what you went through. You want people to like only have, like my dad said, you know, only have the most amazing life. You don't want them to have to suffer from all of that. You know, that's what it is. I don't know. And maybe it's just better if we shut our mouths and let people learn those things. But I think it was really hard for me when I got sober too, because so many people that I knew, not necessarily close friends, but people that I knew kept on going back out. Well, I mean, they weren't even like in recovery. They just kept on partying and using. It's like they didn't learn anything from what I went through. And it was frustrating. And I don't know why they would have. You know what I mean? Like, I knew people that went to treatment and I didn't learn anything from it. It wasn't like I stopped because of that. And if anything, I justified my actions, you know? So for me, you know, like, it was hard because I was like, well, I wish that people would learn from what I went through so they don't have to continue to go through that. And instead what I had to watch was, you know, other people enter a 12-step program or go through treatment and get sober. Or some people died. Many people died, you know, from back then. And many people just kind of phased out and moved on, you know, but no, I don't think many people came to me and said, like, I learned so much from what you went through. And so that's the great sentiment, isn't it? Like, if somebody's going to ask you for help or ask you for suggestions, that's probably a time to give it. But if they're not asking, maybe not give so much unsolicited advice. Maybe that's the message I need to take from that. All right, let's talk about The Magic Book by Rhonda Byrne. Did you guys keep up with all 28 days of this? So, this book was magical. No, truly it was. I will say this, after having done it, like, now I think this is maybe my second or my third time attempting to go all the way through, and this time I went through the entire thing. I don't know, I will tell you one thing that helped was, like, each day I wrote down, like, the day that we were on and stuff like that. So, I don't know that I would, do this book again, honestly. Like, I've done it now, and I feel like I've learned the lessons from it, but I don't know that I would go through it for another 28. I mean, if I hadn't done it before, yes, I would do it. But now that I've gone through it once, and this time I remembered a lot of the lessons from before, but there were a lot of lessons that I didn't remember as well. But remembering a lot of the lessons from before, I don't think that I would do it again, you know? My mother-in-law, I actually bought her one of these, and she's doing it right now, and she loves it. So, and I have several other friends of mine that I've kind of turned on to the idea of doing this book. I don't know, it was just like, when I've talked about this on my vlog. When you are every day getting up and you're doing a gratitude list of 10 things, and I don't think it's just about the action of writing down the 10 things. I think for me, I read them out loud afterwards. After each one, I said, thank you, thank you, thank you, like it suggests, and the counting the blessings. And so it was this whole activity that was around gratitude. And I was like on day 5 or 6, and I was talking to my sponsor about it, you know, and I said, it's really hard to be like angry or upset or miserable when you're literally living in gratitude all the time. And she's like, it's the action of it. She's like, you're doing all these activities and you're putting action to gratitude. So you're literally practicing gratitude, right? It would be like, if every day you got up and you were like a baseball player and you went out and, you know, you hit balls and caught them and ran around the field, and it'd be like, if you did that every single day, how do you not think of baseball? You know, when you go home at night and you're eating dinner, you're going to think about baseball, right? So it's very much like that. And she's so good at training your mind to think that way. And there were several activities in here. I want to go through and maybe pick out a couple. There were several activities that I will literally never forget. Well, first of all, the desire list of the top 10 desires. I've gone back to that several times. But I mean, I wrote this stuff out. I wrote it out. I love writing this stuff too, because I don't know, at some points it was kind of like a lot of work, but then I was like, okay, I will say this book didn't take any more than a half an hour a day. In all reality, it didn't take more than a half an hour a day. So, you know, I loved, well, the manifestation part at the beginning of the book, like I'm still adding stuff to that. So I'm going to keep the notebook out because I am going to continue to do the gratitude list. But doing the, and I actually, if I go over here, I have my inventory that I'm working on right now. So I have that right there. But if I go into the book and I look at the activities, the magic rock, I love that activity, but I love that activity from before. The magic dust, I love that activity. Let me go through the list here. Let's see. The gratitude list of count your blessings. The check that you write to yourself, I think is really cool. I have not received that money yet, but when I do, I'll be very, very happy. Magical morning. Okay, that is something that I've literally done ever since that day, which is where you get up in the morning and you put your foot down and you go thank and you go you. And then you kind of go through the first 5 or 10 minutes of your morning and you say thank you to, like, you know, the water, and thank you to this, and thank you to the money that you've received, and thank you to your house, and thank you to your partner, and thank you for your dogs, and thank you for your bed. And you go through all of that. And you know, the thing is that I had always done, like in the last couple of years, a gratitude list in the morning when I did my prayers and meditations. But it's really hard to start your day off like that and not be positive about your day. You know what I mean? And not go throughout your life or throughout your day looking at it in like a really positive way. So I thought it was extremely valuable. I love that lesson. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the ones that like really stuck out to me. Magically healing your relationships, I thought was really, really powerful too. And I just, you know, what was the one? Magnificent Outcomes. Okay, that was day 21. I loved Magnificent Outcomes, where you look at things and you say, you know, thank you for the magnificent outcome for, and whatever it is. And I think that what that taught me was to be more positive about things that are happening in my life, you know? Not just that I believed that looking at something and saying, thank you for the magnificent outcome for this. Magical health was really powerful to me too, being grateful for your health. Because she literally says in the beginning of it, you know, you don't really think about losing your health until you've lost it. And having this summer, you know, threw my back out and having to go through all these medical things, you know, and whatever, like, it made me really, really appreciate my health on a whole new level. So when I read that part in the book, like, that was super powerful to me, to be grateful for the health that I have, you know? And I still do that every single morning. I mean, my health, my life, and my sobriety, well, it goes my life, my sobriety, and my health are the three things that I say typically every morning that I'm the most grateful for at the top, because without them, I mean, like, I'm not here, right? So to experience this wonderful gift called life, which I really truly do believe is a gift. So yeah, I love that one. What else were there? Well, I feel like, and I said this at the end, the last ones, I thought the magic mirror, where she's talking about talking to yourself, this was the second to the last one, where she's talking about looking in the mirror and talking to yourself and thanking yourself and whatever. I think that's a powerful exercise, you know. I don't know, like, that's a good, like, I don't love the word self-esteem. I like the word self-concept. Somebody introduced me to the word self-concept years and years and years ago. I think self-esteem kind of insinuates that we don't have any, like, power over how we think about ourselves, and self-concept, I think, makes it seem like that how we view ourselves. So I like the word self-concept better. I don't know that I necessarily think that it's an action of gratitude, but I think looking at yourself in the mirror every single day and saying, I love you, and these are the things that are important or valuable about you, I think that is really powerful. It's hard to do, okay? So, I don't know. I did do the exercise that day. But the last couple exercises for me were kind of filler. Like, it got to the end, and, like, you know, there were some chapters that were like 7 and 8 pages. And then you got to the end, and it was like every chapter, like the last 5 chapters were like 2 pages. And I was like, and there weren't really a lot of activities. It almost kind of seemed like she was just making stuff up to put in the, I know that sounds horrible, but did anybody else feel that way? I was kind of like, I like the really die-hard, you know, exercises in here that I'm going to remember, something that I can do, you know. So anyway, yeah, the relationship stuff and sitting there and talking about the relationships that you have and why you're grateful, the 5 things you're grateful for with that person and stuff was really powerful to me. I think getting a notebook really helped me. I love that I have like this little special notebook that I can always keep, and You know, the other thing is, even if you don't keep up the gratitude list, the thing I think is really cool is that from now going on, you have 280 individual things that you're grateful for in your life. Like, that is really, I mean, it really is powerful, you know? I mean, I've given people suggestions in my life to make gratitude lists, and they'll look at me and they'll be like, I couldn't even come up with 5 things, you know? And I won't say that there weren't days that were like a struggle to me, that I was like, what am I grateful for today? Especially when I was like tired and half asleep doing the list, you know? But I always was, once I got rolling with it, I could have come up with like 30 each day, you know? So that was, you know, great. And I think that, I don't know, it just made me look at my life in a completely different way. I had been practicing gratitude for so long anyway, but then to actually put action to it, where it was like throughout the entire day I was practicing it, was really powerful. Look at that hat. Was really, my hat's actually made it on my gratitude list. But was really powerful, you know? I was, and no, that wasn't one of my top things, okay? But I did start looking around at everything. When she was talking about like being grateful for nature, and if you could be grateful for nature on that deep of a level, I don't know what day that was or what she was talking about, but it really took your gratitude to like a whole other level. And it was interesting because like 2 days before that, I had been like grateful for the sun, grateful for the moon, grateful for the grass, grateful for this, grateful for that, the air we breathe. Oh, the air we breathe. That was a really, really powerful lesson. I really, really liked that one, where you take the 5 deep breaths and you say thank you, thank you, thank you. I loved that exercise. So anyway, I am so happy that we did this. I think, you know, this came at a really good time for me, and it really lifted my spirits and made me realize, I mean, I say it all the time anyway, but that I really do believe it, that I have a life beyond my wildest dreams, you know, and this made me appreciate it even more. So let me know what and y'all made it on my list many times, trust, okay? I'm so thankful for all of you that watch my videos over here, you know, and that just leave such nice comments and, you know, send me messages and stuff. I just want to say I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. And I think that's it. So I love you guys, and let me know in the comment section below what you thought, and if you read this, or if you haven't, if you're going to start it, you can start it anytime. You know, you can get this on Amazon or anywhere else, probably Barnes & Noble, or, you know, half-price books or thrift books or whatever. Anyway, let me know what you think. A lot of people said they were doing this on the Kindle too. You can totally do this on a Kindle. You don't have to like have the actual book. I liked it because I just like bent it back and, you know, wrote in like the margins and circled stuff like the dates and wrote, you know, what date it was on there, so I know when I've done this, looking back on it. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.